Hi there, my name is Cynthia Wakio, and today we're exploring more on how you can explain the employment gap in your CV. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Cynthia.
So let's start off by exploring the mistakes candidates, or rather you see professionals doing when explaining the employment gaps.
So before I go to explaining the mistakes, let's first look at what is an employment gap in someone's CV. So when you're talking about an employment gap, we are looking at, Cynthia, you haven't worked for over 6 months, and or your CV reflects that you haven't been engaged. You've not been working for the last 6 months. Because for one reason or another, let's say you're not working, but if it's below 6 months, employers really, they'll not judge you harshly. But anything beyond 6 months, then there are question marks, like why is Cynthia not working? Yeah. And remember, you're competing with candidates who are working. And there are all these misconceptions that, oh, if someone is not working, maybe they were fired, maybe they are not good at what they do. So you've got to consider that. That's why it's very important for you to address any employment gap in your CV. So I believe the biggest mistake you find is when candidates, professionals, they don't point out what's the reason why you're not working. Because at the end of the day, job search, it's a competitive process. You're not the only one looking for that opportunity, Cynthia. So if you have a CV that does not explain to me as a recruiter or potential employer why you've not been working, then chances are someone might opt to go with other candidates. So the biggest mistake is you not addressing why you have an employment gap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how do you now go about explaining?
So I would say there are various reasons. Let's say, for example, you took time off to complete studies. What I would expect of you is in the work experience, you just write. So, for example, if you joined University of Nairobi, you've been pursuing an MBA. So, part of your in your where you have your work experience, that's where I would list. Yeah, just briefly, put a note there briefly. If you also left, let's say, to start a family, you're a lady, you still took time off 2 years to start a family, there's also no harm to do to say that. I've also seen people relocate, and just highlight that because you are trying to answer the question, to address the issue from the employer point of view. Like, Cynthia looks very qualified, but how come she's not been working? How come there's a gap? So if you took time to start a family, you took time for further studies, you even relocated, those are valid reasons on why you'll be having an employment gap. And so long as you state them, someone will be able to understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the work experience.
It should appear under work experience, just as a brief note.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say also another thing is, let's say you've been having short-term contracts. Again, it's important for you to highlight them under work experience. Don't ignore them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But apart from highlighting, the important thing seen there is to come out and demonstrate to the potential employer that you've not been wasting your time, that there's something that you've been doing. So I always advise people, yes, for example, let's say I'm in accounting, I lost my job because of COVID, and I haven't found a full-time job since then, since 2020. But what I can do is I can update my CV and show that I've been volunteering, I've been working part-time as an accountant. And there are so many people out there who'd need these services, and even if it's for free.
Yeah.
Because what you're thinking about is you're not just thinking about the here and now, you're thinking about your next opportunity. So I would rather have an accountant who's been working part-time or volunteering than someone who has not been working for the last 3-4 years. Because the biggest concern with many employers is if you've been out of work for a longer period of time, the assumption is you're not up to date with what is happening. Your skills also, you may not have to be up to date in terms of sort of skills, the new trends in the market and such kind of things. Yeah.
Your CV is what sells you. So how do you ensure now you avoid this kind of mistakes and you stand out?
I think the first thing is get to realize there's a lot of information. For example, if you subscribe to our channel, we always have tips for you, whether it's for CV writing, interviews, job search, etc. The next thing is you can ask a trusted friend, maybe someone in HR, someone experienced more than you. Ask them, what do you think I should be able to do? And the third option is, for example, here at Corporate Staffing, we offer a professional CV review service where you send your CV free of charge, you look at it, and you'll be able to advise you, Cynthia, this is what you can be able to do. And if you do want additional help, the team will also be able to advise you on how we can be able to partner. So in short, there are many solutions out there. And in this day and age, you shouldn't miss an opportunity because uh, you've not done one or two things.
Yeah.
Information is readily available. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for offering your expertise for free.
Thank you,
All
Cindy.
right. As you've heard from the expert, it is important to address the employment gaps in your CV. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time.